In this video, I am going to talk about function definition. Here is the official definition of function. A function is a mapping between two sets such that each item in the first set maps to only one item in the second. So keywords, keep it in mind. It's a special mapping between two sets such that each item in the first set maps to only one item in the second. Here are some examples. Let's say my first set has A, B, C in it, and my second set has D, E, F in it. So now I'm going to create a mapping here. A maps to E, B maps to D, and C maps to F. Okay, so this, by the way, is a function that takes an item or maps an item from the first set to the second set. F is a function, so this is a notation for the function. Now look, this mapping does in fact satisfy this definition. It's taking each item in the first set, which is this set, and it is mapping to only one item in the second. So A is getting mapped to E, B is getting mapped to D, C is getting mapped to F. Doesn't matter which item you pick in the first set, in this set, each item is being mapped to only one item in the second. Now here is another example. Let me just create something for you. Let's say again A, B, C, D. These are arbitrary. You can have anything. You can have cat, dogs, horses in the first set, doesn't matter. So this is a very broad definition. And I'm gonna create an E. So I map everything to E. Sometimes at the beginning, when the students are learning function definitions, they are thinking, oh, maybe this doesn't look like a function. By the way, this is a perfectly valid function. Does it? Always you have to ask yourself the question, does it satisfy the condition of the definition, which is each item in the first set, in this set, has to be mapped to only one item in the second. So let's look at A. Is it getting mapped to only one item in the second? Yes, it is getting mapped to E. How about B? Yes, one item E. C, one item E. D, one item E. It happens to be the case that all of these items in the first set, or the elements in the first set, is getting mapped to only one element in the second set. That is perfectly fine. It doesn't say anywhere in the definition that it couldn't happen. All it says that each item in the first set has to be mapped to only one item in the second. Now let me create a scenario. Let's put something else here. Let's say I put a K here for some reason. Now this K without mapping in the first set would create a problem. It violates the definition. Each item in the first has to be mapped to only one item in the second. Here is a K sitting down without any mapping. So this is not a function anymore. This violates the definition. However, if I take this K and map it to E, then it is a function. So please keep these things in mind. Now let me give you a little bit more details on the definition, or elaborate things a little bit more. The first set in the function mapping or function is called domain, and the second set is called the range of the function. I have given you the most general definition of function. Of course, when you think about function, you are probably mostly thinking about equations. So that's basically a derivation of this thing. This is the most general and most broadest definition of function. You should be very familiar with it. Now let's take this definition and apply it to something that you are more familiar with, something simple, like something like y is equal to 2x. See? Now for each value of x, you will get a corresponding value of y. So if my first set contains all the x's, if x is 0, so let's put x here and y here. X is 0, my y is gonna be 2 times 0, which is 0. So 0 gets mapped to 0. or if x is 1, my y is going to be 2 times 1, which is 2. If x is negative 1, my y is going to be 2 times negative 1, negative 2. So you could technically represent a function in terms of a table, like this function 0, 0, 1, 1, negative 1, 1, and so on and so forth. You can see a mapping. Here is the tabular version or tabular representation of the function, and here is the sort of a set notation, a set representation of the function or mapping representation of the function. So it's very important that you get this understanding. I hope that this discussion was helpful. Thank you very much.